Hello and welcome to an announcement video with a little twist. I am going to be participating in HRCYED this year, but I was a little scared, so I tweaked it a little bit. And I'm going to be doing HRCYED the Cheyenne way for 2025-2026. So let me tell you what HRCYED is. If you don't know, HRCYED stands for the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. This is created by QWERTY. I will link her info down below, like the announcement video for HRCYED 2. This is the second year that she's run it. And the idea is it's supposed to be a very hard reading challenge. The hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. And I love that idea. However, some of the things in it just really don't jive with my reading. So last year when she announced in 2024 that she was doing it, I didn't do it because I was like, I think there are just too many things that don't jive with what I want to be reading right now. So I thought about it a lot, and hearing some feedback from some friends that did HRCYED last year, they said it was a lot. So I was like, okay, how can I do it to where I can get enjoyment out of it while also having a challenge to do it? So it's a little bit of both. I want it to be fun. I want it to fit what I'm currently reading, but I do want it to be a challenge for me to complete. So I've made a few tweaks that I think will fit more my goals for 2025 and 2026 and my reading habits and what I'm reading from, what I have available. Tweaked it a little bit to make it work for me. So in normal HRCYED, rereads don't count and DNFs don't count. I am going to be counting rereads because I'm not a big rereader, but I have been rereading some book series that have been like, I'm reading the Redwall series, which is a reread for me because I wanted to read it like in order because I never did that as a child. And there are some series where I need to go back and reread the first book so that I can complete the series. So I'm going to be allowing rereads for myself. I don't have like a problem with rereads. I don't think anyone can have like a problem with rereads, but I don't need to read all brand new books. Sometimes I take the time to do a reread for a specific purpose. I'm not a big rereader, so I doubt this will be many of my books, but there are some circumstances in which I will be rereading, which funnily enough, I've done 2 already in the month that I've been doing this challenge, but that's kind of whatever. So I'm going to quickly take you through all the different challenges and just tell you what I'm doing to tweak it, if anything. So the first one is by the 100s or by the hundreds, and this one you're supposed to read a book that is within the 100-page range from 100 all the way up to 700. No tweaks are needed there. The next one I've actually already completed. I did a 24-hour readathon where I just read as much as I could for 24 hours, and I didn't need to change anything there. It was pretty simple. Read for 24 hours, see what you can get done. The next one is subgenre of choice. So you pick an overall genre, and then you decide to read 6 subgenres within that overall genre umbrella. Fantasy girly here, I'm picking fantasy, and I haven't actually read any yet, but I will be doing different subgenres of fantasy as I go along. Nothing that I'm needing to tweak there. The series Staircase, I love this one. So the idea of this is that you read a standalone, you read a complete duology, a complete trilogy, and then a complete series that has 4 or more books in it. I will not be changing anything in there. I think that one's really fun. For award season, I don't know yet what award I'm going to be choosing, but the idea is that you pick an award and then you read the winner, at least one finalist, one semifinalist, and one entrant. And I don't think I'm going to be changing anything for that, at least so far. I think that should be okay. I think that should work out okay, though I'm finding it very hard to find like entrance list. Like, I don't know if I should just pick something where it's like, okay, this book could have been entered for this award, but I don't know how to find out like what all books were entered. So I need to do some more research on that one. TBR game challenge, that's where you borrow a TBR game from someone, use that to build a TBR, and then you read the books. No changes are needed for that one. The last 10 years, this is where, starting with 2026, you read a book all the way back to 2015, so one book from each year. I don't think I'll need to do any changes for that one. I'll just be reading like normal. Adaptations, we'll see if I finish this one. I'm not like huge on adaptations. Like, I'm not someone who has like a favorite book that they're like, oh, I really want to see this like adapted into a TV show or a movie or something. Like, that's just not something I care about. Like, if I love a book, I usually love the medium that it was in, so I love the book, and I don't necessarily need like a movie or anything. Like, obviously I love Lord of the Rings, the book and the movie, but I don't read something and go, oh my gosh, I have to have, you know, a TV show of this. I don't know. I've just, if I like it as a book, I like it as a book. And I'm big on like story, and I'm not a huge rereader. So sometimes when I've experienced something once, I don't really need to experience again in another medium. So I don't know how far I'll go through that, because there's a lot of different adaptations, and I just don't really know how that will go. So that one may be one I just skip because I just don't have a lot of interest. We'll see. Disability challenge, just read at least 5 different types of disability. That should be good. Heritage Month, there's a bunch of different heritages for like each month throughout the year. You don't have to read a book within that year, but the idea is that you read a book that would have that sort of representation somewhere throughout the year. There's a translation challenge, which I think is super fun. It's to read 5 different books that have been translated from different languages. So you can't read 5 books that have been translated from Japanese. It has to be like different languages, which I think will be really fun. I'm excited about that one. Around the World, this one will also be a fun one, if a little tricky. We'll see. It's to read a book from every continent, and I'm still focusing on reading from my shelves, but I do think that I'll be fine to kind of branch out at the library and pick up books from different continents to fill the ones that I don't have present on my shelves, because as my pile is getting like smaller, my like mix of things is smaller to choose from, so I'll probably have to use the library a bit to kind of fill some of these in. There's the even bigger rainbow challenge. So there was a rainbow challenge to read books that had colors on them, to read based on the cover color for the rainbow, and this one just has even more colors, so I don't need any help with that one or any changes. That'll be great. Then this one's really fun. So this one is to read through a beloved quote. So the idea was you pick a quote and you like type one word in each box, and you're supposed to read a book that has that word in the title to like sort of spell out your quote. Not spell it, but like read out your quote. So I went back and forth on like what I wanted to do, and I decided to go with a lyric from one of my favorite songs of all time, Vienna by Billy Joel. So my quote says, "Dream on, but don't imagine they'll all come true." That's one of my favorite lyrics in the song. It hits so hard, and so I'm planning to read that. It's only 9 words long, so I think that's like a good amount to be challenging, but the words aren't like super hard. So like this is a tricky one to pick out, because it was just like, okay, I need manageable words and a manageable length, and I also want it to be something that I actually like as a quote. So I think this works. Spooky creatures, you're just supposed to read books that have different creatures in them. That will be fun to explore. I definitely enjoy spooky creatures. Become the Avatar is just to read books that have the 4 elements in them: water, air, fire, and earth. And you are supposed to read it, either has something in the title or like something on the cover. Then the readathon challenge is just to take place in another readathon. I will definitely do this. I'll be taking part in Wonderthon next year for sure, and there's usually quite a few other readathons that I'll be slipping in here and there. Animals, this is just to read books featuring different kinds of animals. That'll be fun. The Even Bigger Queer Alphabet, this is to read books where I think a main character, I don't think it can be like a side character. Like, I think they want it to be like the main character, like, has some of the representations from the queer alphabet. So gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, intersex, asexual, and there's like a few more in there. There's like a whole list. So no adjustments needed on that one. My favorite HRCYED 1 prompt, I'm going to keep a secret for now. And there's a reason for that. I do have a full video planned for it, but I did pick a prompt that I really loved from HRCYED 1, and I have a really fun idea for a little reading vlog for it. BIPOC authors, so this is just to read from a bunch of different BIPOC authors and try to vary the representation. So like, don't just read all Black authors, like try to mix it up. New releases. This is going to be where I tweak a little bit. The idea is that within the month of January 2026, you read a book that was released in January 2026. Now this year, QWERTY is giving people the wiggle room of like 30 days before and 30 days after. So you have like a 90-day window within which to read that book near the month that it was published. And while I really love the idea of this and think that if I was going to do HRCYED like a couple years in the future, I would do it this way. Right now, my main focus is my shelves, and library books are second. I am not actively buying books right now, or I'm actively buying very few books, and very few of those books are new releases. I'm kind of prioritizing, like, if I start a series from my shelves and I need like the next book, then I'm buying it. So what I think I'm going to do is just open up the year. So it could be from either 2025 or 2026. And the idea is to read a book that was published in each month for either 2025 or 2026. This is going to make it easier to manage like library holds, because I am reading from my library for most of these, so it just can be a little hard to like get a hold of them sometimes. You have to wait months and months to get a hold of it because we have kind of a little bit of a small library but a very large county that it's servicing. So it doesn't take like ages, but it does take a little bit. I can't guarantee I'll get it within the month. So like if I read a book that was published in December 2025, at any point in this challenge, I will be checking it off. I do not have to read it in the month that it was published. I'm going to give myself any time in 2026 or 2025 and just try to read one from each of the months. Hopefully that makes sense. That was just something I think for myself, I needed that to happen. So the challenge yourself prompt is one that I'm very excited about because I set myself a hefty challenge. But I have a year basically from the 1st of July, which is already passed. It's the 2nd of August today. But the 1st of July to the 30th of June 2026 to complete Taming the Shelves Phase 2. So what that means is Taming the Shelves is a project I've been doing. You can see videos of it that I've posted where I'm trying to reduce the amount of books that I have on my shelves. So right now, all of my shelves are double stacked, and phase 2 of Taming the Shelves is that I want all my shelves to be single stacked, and I want to have one shelf completely clear for library books. So those can easily like have a place to go and come off and stuff. So that's my goal, is to complete Taming the Shelves phase 2. So all my shelves will be single stacked, and I will have an empty, like, one shelf, not the whole bookshelf, but just one shelf for library books. The nonfiction challenge is just to read 5 nonfiction books around different topics. That one I can definitely do. And then Q reviews. So read 3 books that QWERTY has reviewed on her channel or her TikTok or Instagram, and give them a try and see how your ratings compare to hers. So there aren't a ton of changes, but I will say as the year goes on, I'm going to see how close I come to completing this challenge, because what I may do is QWERTY is allowing you to double up a book, like one book can be used for 2 different prompts. I may allow myself to use books for more than 2 prompts if it just looks like I can't read enough to complete it, because I do kind of want to try to complete this, but we'll see. I'm going to give it a few months and kind of see how I'm doing with that progress and see where it goes. But that's the video. I'm very excited and interested to see how this goes. I want it to be a challenge without like completely taking over my reading life, because I have other challenges that I'm also working on. So we'll see how it goes. Let me know if you are participating in HRCYED this year. I would be very curious to know if you are tweaking it or if you're trying to follow QWERTY's like rules exactly. And I probably won't do like a ton of updates on this. I'm thinking I'll probably do like a 6-month update and then like a final update at the end of it all. So that's my video for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this reading challenge is kind of interesting to you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.